Howdy folks, I wanted to put together a little YouTube video of me actually playing some WoW here. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning on a wonderful Tuesday here in Iowa. This isn't the time I normally do LFR and my instances for the week on my characters. I'm here on my Tauren. He's a Fury Warrior, as you can tell with the very large weapons. He's my favorite. He's always been my my main character since vanilla. I'm gonna go ahead and queue up now in LFR so we can get that started. Queue can be a little long at times, but I wanted the time anyhow to talk about the character. Right now I'm using a 378 and 378, so not the best weapons in the world, especially with LFR right now, but it can be tough to get weapons through LFR. People will always need on them no matter what. So it is difficult at times. Most of my gear is enchanted and gemmed correctly. I do have a couple non-standard gems. There's a blue gem, a hit gem in here, which I shouldn't have technically. I need to switch that out for purple at least, if not just a straight up red. But I'm lazy like that. There's also a crit strike gem, which is actually pretty good for warriors. Normally you do not gem the secondary stats, you always gem primary stats, but crit strike rating is pretty high up there for Fury Warriors, so I said, fuck it, why the hell not? And I'm OCD like that because I need to have those socket bonuses. There's no good reason to have the socket bonuses because usually just gemming straight stats is better anyhow, but like I said, I'm a little OCD. So most of my gear is reforged. Actually, I'm pretty much reforged for between crit and hit, because those are some of the best stats possible for a Fury Warrior. Haste and Mastery really don't do a ton, but getting that hit chance up there, I'm at 17% right now, 17 and a quarter. Hit actually does a lot for Fury Warriors because those big weapon swings, they can start doing a lot of damage very quickly. Crit, of course, one of the best stats. Right now I'm sitting at 22% with just nothing on right now besides my Rampage. So not too bad. You will also notice I do still carry my Volatile Alchemist Stone. I haven't really found anything good to replace it anyhow. Maybe the Justice Point trinket, but I'm not too strong in it. I love my Alchemist Stone, if only for sentimental purposes, and I'm not actually doing any heroic tier rating right now in him anyhow, so it's not that big a deal for me. Beyond that, a few pieces of tier sets, a couple Raid Finder pieces. I do believe my gloves are... No. My gloves are Raid Finder. I know I have one piece. Legs. Legs are not Raid Finder. I actually got those in an actual raid. I got up my ass and got a random group together. Let me think. Backbreaker Spalders. They're just Raid Finder, but they are best in slot for Fury Warriors. They're an amazing piece. If you're a Fury Warrior, the Backbreaker Spalders, you can still get your 4-piece without having a shoulder slot. That's the slot you want to kind of disregard in this situation because Backbreaker Spalders are amazing for you. Now, going on to actually how the character itself looks, I kind of go with a tribal look. I stick with the Tauren stuff quite a bit, so I kind of go with the earthy colors, the earthy plates, and kind of the dirt-ridden metal. I enjoy that kind of look. And although I do not have a good secondary weapon right now, I don't like the mace. I do, however, have the Tauren Chieftain's Axe, so I'm very proud of that. I enjoy that quite a bit. Okay, here we've been in queue for about 3.5. Shouldn't be too much longer, hopefully. Right now, frame rate's actually holding about 25. I know it's going to drop to about 20 or 15 in raid itself, but that's not too horrible, especially for my system. And I'm running at mid-range graphics. Not very good, but not very bad. Shadows, of course, I have completely just nuked, because shadows, for some reason, shadowing always screws with my system. Talking about the bar setup here. Bars are a little confusing, I know. The first set of bars here on the bottom are all utility abilities, including my War Stomp. These next set of abilities are all damage increasing abilities, including the Rotting Skull Trinket I have, and Inner Rage. And then all of these other abilities involve things, items, or abilities that heal. Enrage Regeneration, Victory Rush, Rallying Cry, etc. Also, this guy is in fact an alchemist, so I have my Flask of Enhancement here whenever I don't feel like using a full flask. I'm probably going to use a full Flask of Titanic Strength here, just because, you know, I feel like showing off a little bit. But normally, in LFR, I will not use a flask. At least not a big flask. I'll just use my regular 80 flask. If only because I'm really lazy. I do have other potions and things here strewn all over the place. I have a couple on this bar up here. I just refilled. Deathblood Venom I always carry a lot on me in case people need cauldrons made, and Impossible Accuracy and Cobra is good for pre-pot. Usually I'll do Cobra. Crit. More crit is always better for Fury Warriors. Alrighty, let's see. Back to the bars. I do a very minimalistic setup. I don't need many buttons at all. Really. I don't like to have a ton of buttons, but this is probably the max number of buttons I will have. I don't like a lot of fancy graphics either. I just like very basic utilitarian setup. So that's pretty much what you're getting with this. Hopefully we're going to get a queue here soon. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quick time lapse, and we're going to flash over when I'm ready. Alright folks, welcome back. That was a quick time saver because Lord knows that was a long queue. That was a really, really long queue. I had to cancel it twice because it was raids that were already in progress on the second and third bosses. So, not my cup of tea, not exactly what I wanted to do. Alright, we're gonna get ready to go here. Flask up. Also gonna eat spear-based Crocodilus, give me some extra strength and stamina. As you can see, this is of course LFR. I'm gonna be getting going here very shortly, I do believe. Be able to see exactly how I function as a Fury Warrior. A couple things always to keep in mind. Your Colossus Smash is a wonderful thing. You're going to want to keep up Colossus Smash at all possible, specifically when you have some big abilities coming up, like you know you have a Raging Blow and a Bloodthirst and a couple of Heroic Strikes you can hit all at the same time, pretty much. I am speculating, although I am thinking about that damage is less stellar. Girls probably asking themselves, man, I don't actually have a damage meter running right now, sadly enough. Oh, that's what was going on inside. Did we? Oh no, we just moved that out of the way. Talking too much to realize what's going on. Yeah, I am spec for Cleave right now, although I do not use it as often as I'd like. So I'm thinking about recalibrating those points. I'm just like,
they have broken our defenses.
this is one of those times I will actually use a Cleave.
Turns against us in
Why are they being pulled away from the tank?
We must
Oh, we got a Huntard.
falls as we soar. All is lost.
Zaragoza, get this. We must press on. To the temple.
That isn't a Huntard. That's a tank. I see a bear in there. Is it a tank issue? Or is it a Huntard issue? Let's get this thing figured out here and hopefully be able to kill this first boss. And Morchok's pretty goddamn easy, so hopefully we can get it figured out. Morchok on anything but heroic mode is completely
Advance
simplistic.
to the front.
I will say the heroic mode for Morchok is a tiny bit of a challenge. A little bit of a challenge. Not a huge challenge, but a little bit of a challenge.
The siege must be broken. Worm rest accord. Defend the line.
Walking in this nearly as much as I normally do, only because I like to not suck. Too bad. Completely letting up, or at least it feels like it. So I'm hoping that continues. One thing you will see me do often is what I just did is I will use Battle Shout and Berserker Rage to build up a bank of rage right before the fight, so I can go in and start DPSing immediately instead of having to take a swing. Yes, please, lock in.
You seek to hold an avalanche.
Always move behind the boss. Yes, melee. What can do otherwise? Why is he turning? Oh dear. I love the noise. I also love the noise. Sucked in, we gotta run away. Normally I will actually use Heroic Elite, but because of the frame rate loss right now, I don't feel like risking it. Like I was saying earlier, Colossus match is always something you're going to want to save until you know you can hit 3 or 4 big buttons. Big buttons being Bloodthirst, Raging Blow, and Slaying. Fury Warriors, you know, Slaying is expected to, as is but we only use Slam gonna go down right after this. Unless we pull this shit. Yeah, I knew this tank wasn't very good. I didn't know. That's a lie. But we're going to continue with this after...
The tower
Oh boy.
was
Okay. I don't
Twilight's
feel
hammer is retreating. The temple is ours. Fortify your positions within.
Alrighty, we are going to cut this first video here, and we will be back with another part of not Wormrest Temple, but the Dragon Soul raid right after this here on the Rob and Dan YouTube channel.